everybody. Good afternoon. It's that time of the week again where we go live to talk about this and that. And I am a little bit late today. It's 12:03. Normally it's from 12 to 12:30. I was having a little bit of a technical difficulties. I tried to rotate the screen to go sideways, so like regular YouTube video style. However, every time I do it, it's not really working. I do gotta figure that out. Let me know in the comments down below if this mode does bother you or if it's fine. I normally film like short videos in this format, so you let me know if it's a problem or if it's okay. I'm definitely going to work on figuring all of that out. So today we're going to be talking about messy mates. What can we do? How do we cope? Etc. etc. When our mates are messier than us. But if you allow me 1 minute to allow people to join in, if anybody is going to come, and I will also share this video a couple of places to give people opportunity to join in live. This is a live videos, and ask me questions and we can discuss back and forth. Otherwise, the replay will be on later, so you can still catch all of the good tips. So 1 minute while I do these housekeeping things, and then we'll jump right in. Just a second, okay? Okay, so that was shared to one location. Let me share it to one more location, and then we'll get started. Okay, and with all those to-dos to done, we can go ahead and jump right into the meat of this video. If anybody does happen to jump in along the way, feel free to talk to me in the comments. So today we're going to be talking about messy mates and what to do. And this is a big kind of problem, if you will, if we don't have the right mindset, because when one person is more messy, the other one can be less messy. One person finds to not bother them, the other person can become extremely irritated from it. So what do you do when you live with a person who doesn't seem to mind the mess or doesn't seem to mind the clutter or happens to like stuff more than you do? What can one do at that moment? Well, from my personal experience, I was once the messy mate, and I know it's two sides of the coin, right? We can always go to the other extreme. Well, have seems to be my case. The tables seem to have turned a little bit. So while I used to think it made sense to get irritated when the person is messy, being on the other side of the coin definitely has helped me to gain both perspectives. So now when I find myself getting irritated about these things, I remember that everyone's standards is completely different, because before, the mess clearly didn't bother me, or maybe it did. I was never really home to note that. I used to work full-time outside the home, and then I also was a student at the time, and my job was pretty hectic, and my school was also intense. So all that being said, I was the messy maid, and when I would come home, I would just want to, take a shower, unwind, relax, and I wouldn't mind it. And when that came to be, that it began really bothering me, and I began the fly lady system, I now wanted everyone to come along to, well, by everyone, I mean my husband, because it was just him and I at the time. I now wanted him to begin tidying up just like I was, and begin to not be messy anymore, just like I was. Not that he's messy, like I said, I was the messier partner before, if you will. But it was very irritating that, okay, so now I'm here, now I'm in this pace, and you're not moving as fast as me, and that can be pretty irritating. So seeing it like from that point of view will also help us out. We are talking about messy mates, what to do, what can we do, how do we relate. So my first tip would be relate from a place of love. This is the person that you chose. We love them. And if we don't love them, we must love them. We're commanded to love. Love is a choice. So whether it's your husband, a roommate, or any other kind of family member, we're to go to them from a place of love. How would we lovingly react to this person? Suppose it was a 2-year-olds, how will we react in that kind of way? Hello, Missy. How are you? You made it. This is live. Yes, there will be a replay later though. But right now we're talking about messy mates. What can we do? How do we cope? How do we handle and navigate that sort of things? But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, do feel free to jot it down. I will talk to you live if anyone's here to talk live. And if you don't make it now, you can always catch the replay later. But yes, messy mates. So we have to really look at it from a place of love and understand that everyone's standard is completely different. What might bother me might not bother someone else, and what bothers someone else might not necessarily bother me, for example. So when we look at it like that, that everyone is different, God made us all differently, it will certainly be easier to do it from an understanding view. Oh yes, what I was saying, I lost my train of thought. If it was a 2-year-old, it would not come hammering down on them, expecting them to be as neat as we are. Well, I know that your spouse might not be a 2-year-old. Hopefully, they're not a 2-year-old, but that person, that 2-year-old, is still within them. You know, we have to do it from a place of love. They might have not learned the things you do. They might have learned. They might just not mind the mess, and everything like that. So on one of my last videos, I was talking about this, why some homes are messy and what to do about it. It was a story that I heard that really shook me to my core. Like I said, when I began to stop being a messy person, I was now finding myself getting increasingly frustrated. All right, so now let's get the ball rolling. I'm on board. What's the problem? Let's move faster and stuff like that. And not everyone is going to move at our pace, if at all. So then this lady, she had a husband that was always leaving his socks and undergarments all about, never can put them in the hamper, and she used to get very irritated at this, extremely irritated, and so much so that they would get into these big fights. One day he left, and again the same fight, and then guess what, he died, and she never even got to say goodbye. They ended in such a bad place, and she's still regretful till tomorrow, I imagine, that that happened, and she even wishes that he was here now to leave his socks so that she could pick them up. So when we do things like that from a mindset like, will this really matter in 5, 10, 20 years? You know, will I regret this? It doesn't matter. We want a neat home for ourselves. So if the next person is not doing what they're supposed to do, they might not want a neat home, and that's okay. If we want a neat and tidy home, we are the ones that have to work for it. And I'm not trying to be controversial, and I know that might not sound fair or anything like this, but if you have children, you can always get your children to jump in. You can't make a person do anything, but you can, if you have small children or even teens, you can show them from now, okay, this is the way, this is what we're doing now, come and join me, and they'll have to see you. Like for me, I have littles. I have 3 under 2. I almost said 2 under 2 because I did for a while. I have 2. Wait, did I say 3? Oh my goodness, what am I calling to myself? Praise be to God. Anyway, I had 2, 3 and under, and so for me, I just showed them when they were very, very small. I used to be very urgently, like if I would drop something, like sometimes I would on purpose drop like a rag or something so that they would see me, and I dropped it. I would like, oh, I dropped it. I gotta pick it up. Hurry, hurry. And like that, literally like that. And I would pick it up and hurry. The cleanup song, I would always make it fun. And I would give them chores. Like even if they cannot do it per se, they're practicing and they're getting in the habit. Okay, this is what we do when we're a part of family. And this is just how it is. Hold on, let me just catch up on some comments and catch my breath. and then I'll get back to what I was saying. Oh, mine's such a great reminder. So quick to speak sharply at my husband when he leaves his clothes on the floor. Yes, girly. It does be like that sometimes. But once I heard that story, it just shook me to my core. And now I don't even mind that, and the fact that I want a neat home for me. It doesn't matter who's doing what. I want a neat home for me. But when it comes to children, like I said, you can definitely incentivize them to help out. You can make them think of it as a fun thing. He's 3 now. My 3-year-old always cleans the windows, and he looks forward to it every single Monday. Weekly home blessing. We follow the Fly Lady system, by the way. Oh, and we are doing a challenge. As a side note, if you're interested, about that right now. We're currently on day 3 and it's going super duper fun. The video is going to come out later today, God willing. So that being said, you can teach them from little, and then when they will grow up, they will be bigger persons who hopefully like to be tidy. So that is one way you can handle that. Just use your mindset. And hold on, or like catch up on comments, and then I'll get to the next tip. I have 5? No. When the older 2 were younger, that was the hardest time. Yeah. Well, when, sometimes it's always the hardest time, right? Because when they're babies and they're newborns, there's that. And then when they get older, you're thinking, wait a minute, wasn't newborn easier? And then when they're older, you're like, oh, but I missed the toddlers. And then I don't have teens, but when they're even older, I heard teens come with teen problems, but that shall not be our case in Jesus' name. Yeah, but definitely every stage, I just try, because I heard this, I just try to enjoy them at every single stage. And I definitely don't complain, but I did have a tough time when it came to children, in the sense that I had a son before that didn't come into fruition at like 19 weeks. So it is pretty hard for me when it comes to children. And then my eldest was born early. He was an early bird. So when it comes to children, I always hear like the glass half full kind of thing, like let me not, because, and then plus, I know that some people are trying to conceive and they're just a blessing. So I just remind myself that as I take a deep breath. Because sometimes toddlers be toddlering. But I know that they're all different. They're all very special. Yeah, it's very tough. Like, so I don't even like to talk about it because this still makes me cry. It was hard to say the least. Very traumatic experience. I'm so sorry for that. Yeah, and that's what kind of like keeps me, peaceful in a way. Like I know God's got him. I know like I'll see him soon, and yeah. What are you gonna do, right? Yeah. Oh, you're. Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's good. That's great. They can be very helpful. Yeah, especially if they see us like cleaning and stuff like that, they'll just know that it's part of the norm. But what do you do if now it's an adult and they are like not cleaning, not doing any of that? Okay, so yeah, you can not let it affect you. You can try not to let it bother you, but until you get there, here are some practical things that you can do now while they're getting there. You can have a clutter-free zone. I know it's not the most perfect thing and you'll still have clutter elsewhere in your home, but let's say if they have their own closet, for example. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back to the clutter-free zones. All right, so if you have a person that not likes clutter, but they like more stuff than you feel comfortable with, then you can have areas that, okay, these areas are going to be more minimalistic. Or even if you're not a minimalist or any sort of, maybe if you're a maximalist, even in this area, we're going to only have the things that live in this area. Let's say it's a living room, a family room, whatever you want to call it. Here, we're only going to have things that live here. Like maybe you can have one hobby, but even I wouldn't encourage that because then it will become a whole clutter. Like, okay, everyone can have one thing in here that we're working on at the moment. Child, you get a toy, unless your living room is your toy room, but that's another story. Child, you can have a toy or a book. Adults, here's your one hobby that you're working on now. Oh, are you doing this puzzle? Be sure to switch it out with this hobby. So just have those areas where they're very carefully select the areas where you won't have to see the visual clutter. Maybe they have 9,000 hobbies and maybe there's splatter all about, but in that particular room or those particular rooms, no thank you. And there's other rooms like yeah, like you actually gotta say no thank you. Not in here or whatever. Put a bin in front before they get to the room. Dump everything in here. After you pass this threshold, no more. And just have like a couple of I crack myself up sometimes. Don't mind, don't mind. There are a couple of rooms like that. Maybe the bathroom is one of those clutter-free rooms. Hopefully your bedroom can be, and if your bedroom cannot, because they live there too. And then if you don't share closets, my home is pretty small, so that wouldn't work for a small home maybe. But if you have the luxury of having separate closets, then what you can do is you will have them put their stuff in their closet, and then that's reasonable, right? Their stuff, their closet. So once the closet begins to overflow, I'm sure that they'll notice. And if they don't, then again, don't let it bother you. It's their closet, not yours. My husband and I don't share closet now, but in the when we first moved in the home, when the children had a lot of like stuff, we did share a closet. But I don't have a lot of things. I don't want a lot of things. I'm more like minimalistic in a sense, and I think it stems from before I had so many things, guys. If I would have known that I was starting this YouTube channel, I would have saved all of my pictures from before. You would literally not believe. I deleted them. It was so embarrassing. Mountains and mountains and mountains of clothes in the closet, out the closets, on the floor. You literally couldn't see my floor. Some of the pictures that I found, I started posting them. At first I was like, no, I would never talk about that apartment. I would never share it. I would never. But you know what? We've all been there at some point or another. Maybe you're blessed and in that regard, you just are very domestic person, gifted, and don't like clutter from day one, from the very beginning. That was not my case. That's how I know you can learn to love cleaning. I used to despise it. Despise it. I'm all about making cleaning fun and getting it done. Because before, you couldn't pay me. I don't think. I just don't know. I just used to think it was so boring, so dreadful, so this and so that. And so it began. My home began to show, and that, and with all the things I used to have, all the things, every single event, I knew this, knew that, knew the third. Am I digressing? I think a bit, but I'll try to get back to the point. Well, anyway, from that, I suddenly decided, by God's grace, you know what, I don't need all this stuff. They're just stuff. And eventually I'm now all the way the other way. So I do have a very small wardrobe, and we did used to share. And so if you do share a wardrobe with your husband, let's say, until very recently we did that. I think when the baby turned 2, that's when we stopped. But once you get okay, so if you don't have your own wardrobe, you'll pick like a different area where they will keep their clutter. I don't want to keep calling it clutter because it could be important to them, but not in the closet, please. Not here, not there. Do you need 2 bins to put under your side of the bed? All right, I guess we can do that. And then eventually the bins will get full, and then God willing, we'll realize, okay, this is too much, and God willing, they'll do something. If not, you can help to implement the 1 in and 1 out rule. That's another thing that you can do. Like, honey, I understand you like your things, but also I'm trying to run home here. So please, moving forward, anything that you bring in, can you please delete one of your things, and then maybe have like a decluttering party or a decluttering December. Like, think about it. If December's coming and an influx of stuff might be coming into our home, you can declare December to be decluttered December, and every single day, that's an idea for a challenge. Stay tuned. But every single day you guys can declutter something or something like that. I know if they're not willing, then they're not willing, and just try to stick to the mindset tip. But I do think it's rather fair that you might have some no clutter zones and no areas for that, and then keep it to a minimum. The 1 in 1 out rule might also work. I don't, but if you're blessed enough to have like a garage or something like this, then they can maybe consider keeping stuff there too. A basement, there's always other place. So instead of like when you get a bit further to no clutter zones, then you can have like, okay, so this is your clutter area. Again, I'm so sorry I keep calling it clutter. Let me know in the comments or in the chat if there's a better way that I could say, because it could be precious to them. Okay, they're things, right? Your things, keep your extra things here, because we not necessarily going to fit 26 model airplanes in our bedroom. But look, here's a nice shelf that you can use, or if there's no shelf, then maybe consider getting a shelf or like a bookcase. I know like sometimes can be like $20 in Walmart, or if you go to the Goodwill or stuff like that, you might find something. You never know. So there are some tips that you could use. Just looking at the time here, we're here to 12:30, a bit longer if people come in and chat. I'm live every single Wednesday. So while we pause on those couple of tips that I gave there, I want to talk to you about the challenge that we're having. If you're interested, we're having a Fly Lady challenge where we do a baby step of the 31 baby step every single day. We're done November 13th. It just started. You can get your calendars in my last couple of videos that I did. I will also try to link it down below if I remember. And we're doing that. That's very fun. I'm doing it with a fun little twist. There may or may not be a special thing at the end. You're just gonna have to stick around and find out then. But on Sunday, we're still having the regularly scheduled video. You are going to want to tune into that one. It's going to be super duper fun and exclusive. I used a lot of like searching for this one and how we can apply the specific wisdom. I'll give it a little teaser into our daily lives every single day. Okay, so those are a couple of things that we're doing in that regard. And I also wanted to know if you were interested in doing another challenge in December that I just mentioned, the declutter challenge. So let me know about that. Okay, so that being said, another thing you can do in order to not necessarily deal with the mess, the clutter mess. I know it might be easier to say like find everything at home, but maybe they just don't know like where that home could be. It might be helpful if they're willing, once again, to take all their stuff out. I don't normally recommend this, but if it's already out anyway, try to pair all the things together so that you and them can both see, again, if they're willing, if they want you to help them with this, exactly how many pens or whatever they have. Is that it's hard to gauge it, because if somebody, not that they requested this video, but they did mention that they had a spouse who did leave their stuff everywhere. I wish that they can be here on this live chat so they can tell me now like what exactly are they leaving, because then maybe I can have some more practical tips for you, like what exactly to do, like what exactly is it. I don't know if it's baseball cards, I don't know if it's gym shorts, I literally have no idea. So I'm just like kind of like pulling things from the air. But these are some general tips that you can certainly use if they're willing. If they're not willing, you can still set certain boundaries like, well, this is the clutter-free zone. Please kindly respect that, and vice versa. Like your bedroom, well, like I said, they share the bedroom, so that one. But your half of the bedroom, if you will, your closet, if you have your own, in certain areas of the home, like the bathrooms, the living room, no-go zones, maybe even the kitchen, because you know fire hazards and stuff like that. See what you can do, negotiate and stuff like that. Or and I saved this best one for last. My husband and I, every time we happen to be disagreeing on something, instead of getting into a conflict or an altercation or anything like that, if we both feel strongly about something, but it's you know, it's not like like do or die kind of thing, but we both are like you know, have our own viewpoints. What we can do is rock paper scissors. So we always do rock paper scissors to solve it. Like for example, one of us wants, I don't know, we it says so many funny examples. I can give you a million. Okay, all right, who's bathing the boys tonight, me or you? Okay. Well, rock paper scissors, just an example. Like we both love to bathe it, actually, you know. Anyway, totally completely irrelevant to what I'm saying. What I am saying though is that do rock paper scissors or flip a coin. All right, about all their clutter, all their things, a couple of things. This one, if I get rock, whatever, whoever wins rock paper scissors, you get to keep her. If you don't, you don't, like that. Or flip a coin or something like that. Like, gamify it, make it fun. Do not go up against them. We are not their enemies or anything like this. But just try to gamify it and make it fun and everything like that, and that should help you in that regard as well. The other thing I wanted to do was talking about for my believers, do not forget the power of prayer. This is the utmost important. I'm just thinking about our rock paper scissors sessions. This is what you can do for the utmost important. Nothing is and no one is going to help you like the Lord is going to help you. So if you pray, even fast, seek the Lord's face. If this is something that's really been on your heart, seek the Lord's face. Say, God, I need help. Help me in this regard. Either change me, or help the clutter, or whatever you feel led to pray by the Holy Spirit. If you don't know what to pray, just ask the Holy Spirit. You will for sure know. Just reflect, pray, fast, whatever you have to do, but do not let this get in the way of your marriage, or I don't know, if it's a family member, you do not want to ruin that relationship over this. Boundaries are important. However, try to see it from their viewpoint too. That thing might be very important and very special to them. So that's why the no clutter zone will definitely really work. Also, don't forget the story about the lady whose husband passed away, and now she wishes that he can be there to put the socks on the floor. He literally died in an accident, and they just got into a big fight about this. So this is very crucial, important that we do see it from that mind point. Also, we're also doing this for us. We want a clean home, not necessarily them. So even if you have to get a big jumbo tub and put all their stuff in it, look, honey, your stuff is right here. If that's what you have to do to respect your peace and respect their property, so be it. Nobody says that all their stuff has to be all over all over the home. You need one or two big jumbo mumbo containers. You can do that, but respectfully, not like, I'm throwing all your stuff in here because it's in my way. Respectfully, honey, look, this is a trip hazard, this is a fire hazard, this is causing me stress, whatever. Literally, clutter can literally causes me stress these days. I don't know what happened before, but now, so it can be a valid reason. If you feel stressed out, I'm sure your partner's not going to want you to feel stressed. And like I said, respectfully, here's a bin. I can't see clutter, please, honey. I know they're important to you, so I don't want to donate them, but look, here they are, and respectfully, right? And the rock paper scissors, whatever you have to do. This video will be live replay later. You can catch the instant repeat. Forgive me for being a little bit distracted. Today was just a day and it's still going. So again, don't forget the Fly Lady Challenge, and if you're interested to catch my video Sunday or the last video that talks more in details about this with more practical tips about messy homes and what to do about them, that one can blow your mind about this or other things that you can use. Anyway, thank you so much for sticking to the end, and thank you so much for watching. And the other video for the Fly Lady Challenge, if you are doing that, will come out today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, God willing, and I'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, to God be the glory. Bye.